you know as well as anybody that as soon as Luke knew Leia was his sister, it was hands off.
Bill, strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies.
Who needs the Joker for a Batman villain? Let's use Calendar Man or the Mad Hatter. They never get any love.
Welcome to the Council of Nerds.
The Council of Nerds.
Welcome.
Welcome to the
Is
Council
Calendar Man a real
of
villain?
Nerds. Yeah, who's Calendar Man?
Dan, one more
He
intro
kills
like
people.
that and you're out. You're done. You are no longer invited back.
Oh, that's fun.
Calendar Man kills people on specific days of the year.
With a calendar.
Like
He's
a
got like dates on the back, like
like a
it's every-
Halloween specific murder or
Yeah.
a Christmas themed
He
murder.
does themed murders. That's so
And the
cool.
Mad Hatter is exactly what you think.
That's so
It's a
creative.
crazy guy who
Yeah,
makes
he's
hats.
literally like Alice in Wonderland type.
Okay, I was gonna say like.
Yeah.
But
Captain
there are
Phillips.
there's certain content where his hats can possess, like, can control people's minds and things like
Ah.
that. So.
Like the guy in Meet the Robinsons, his hat. Remember, bowler
Mhm.
hat guy. Hey, you kind of look like bowler
Bowler
hat
hat
guy
guy.
with your mustache. Anyway,
Are we recording? Is this in the
yeah,
episode?
we're totally
Yeah,
recording.
that's all.
Absolutely.
Welcome. We have Connor with us again today. If you remember him
Oh,
from a previous
Hey.
episode.
Yeah, what episode were you on
Um,
with us again?
I was on the last Harry Potter
Ah,
episode.
That is right.
we have.
And I said in that episode, you guys were like, we should have him on again. And I was like, I know a lot about the Joker.
That's true.
Botting. We're talking about.
So
the
here I
Joker.
am.
He did say that.
You didn't know. Kind of like we said previous episodes. This month we're trying to do spoopy topics, and I feel like Batman as a whole is a bit of a spookier comic
Well, he's a
in
bat.
terms of the. It's darker. It's a lot at night. Scarecrow's creepy. You know, there's a lot of individual bad guys that are not the most non-nightmare fuelish. But Joker definitely, for various reasons, scares the living daylights out of me. So
Really?
we're going to talk about him. Connor is quite the authority, so we're going to lean on his knowledge quite heavily. But it's going to be fun. So
I'm just gonna say though, like I'm not the end all be all of like the Joker. So
He
don't
is.
don't at me, okay?
he's actually quoted in a couple scientific journals about the Joker. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
pretty awesome. So that's not true. Don't fact check me.
No, that's not true at all.
Did we
yeah.
say welcome to the Council of Nerds?
I mean,
Yes, we did.
sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
In a sort of ways, yes. There's a
None
lot.
of us could recover from your supplies joke. Okay.
There's a lot of different Jokers out there. I don't know. What's your name, Connor? I can't pronounce your name. Do you know how many Jokers there actually are, like total?
Meaning what? Like in the comics or like people who have played as the Joker?
I mean, like
Yes.
that's kind of a difficult question, mainly because like Mark Hamill has played multiple Jokers,
Right.
so
But there's to answer your question
just go for it.
broadly, there are tons
okay,
of people who have like
yes,
voiced as the Joker in like I almost said comics, in TV shows or like been in the comics who have been referenced or like are in certain movies or whatever. Most of people I'm assuming will know like Heath Ledger,
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, and like they might know Mark Hamill.
They should.
They probably should if they're listening to this podcast. They should
They
be
know
nerdy enough
him,
to
but
know.
they don't know it's him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
yeah.
that like,
Yeah.
they know they've heard the voice and they go, oh wait, that's Luke Skywalker. That's weird.
Yeah.
And then everyone has that moment where they realize that he's not just Luke Skywalker.
They realize they're like, oh, he's way better at acting when he's not showing his face.
That's impossible.
Okay, so first off, I'm gonna start this. This is gonna be different. I'm gonna start. I think we should start most of our episodes with just kind of saying a bit of a, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, get on our Discord, the Council of Nerds, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I think it's good to do it at the beginning, just in case people bail and whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Link in
understandable
the
if you bail.
description down below.
Maybe I don't normally do that, but yeah, maybe I should
Like
start
and
doing that.
subscribe.
What are they? Smash that like button. But yeah,
That notification bell so you don't miss anything.
hey, who
Yeah,
watches a lot of
that's
YouTube?
really-
All of us.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and
We're
then
guessing you.
I do watch a lot of YouTube. For starting out with the Joker, though, I want to start out with something super light, and I think first I have a list of like top 5. It's voted by random people, right? Top 5 best Jokers, and I don't know if they're including. I mean, in the top 5, I know there's no comic book Jokers in there, but animated like TV series and movies are in there. I'm gonna do that, and then I want to do like let's each go through and say our favorite Joker, comic book, TV, movie, whatever, and why, and then we'll move on to more of that nitty gritty stuff about the Joker. Sound good? Okay, so sorry, I burped a little there. So the top 5. Are there any guesses on what the top 5 are?
Well,
Heath
like I
Ledger's
said,
gonna be
those
in there.
those 3 are probably in there.
Yeah.
Jack
Wow, I
Nicholson,
didn't-
Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill.
But you have
Yeah,
That's
I
my
would
guess.
like to think that my specific favorite one would be the top one, but I don't think that that's going to be the case.
okay. So what do you guys think the number 1 favorite Joker is?
Probably Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. Heath Ledger, I don't think it's very arguable. He did one of the best, easily, in my opinion. Like, he's not my favorite Joker ever, but he is like top performance in my opinion for Joker.
Right now, generally, when I think of the Joker, most of the
Yeah.
time my thoughts do go to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Number 2 will actually maybe surprise you. What do you guys think it is?
Probably Jack
Joaquin
Nicholson.
Phoenix.
Joaquin.
I was gonna say Joaquin Phoenix too.
Wrong.
Jack-
All levels. It is Mark Hamill's.
Okay.
And
Okay, good.
It's not surprising.
Good.
it's not even specifying which one. It just says Mark Hamill as Joker. So like listed underneath that is Batman the animated series, Batman Mask of I don't know how to say that word. Fantasism.
Sure.
The new Batman Adventures, Superman the animated series, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, Justice League, Batman New Times, Batman the Killing Joke, Justice League Action, yeah, and then the 8 video games.
That's so much.
Yeah,
Holy.
he's scary in those, man. He's
What a legend.
he's pretty scary. Number 3 is Joaquin Phoenix, which
Mhm.
have you guys all
Okay,
seen that
I never
movie?
saw Joker.
Okay,
I have.
I saw it.
did you see it?
I
Connor?
saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That movie was
course.
super dark. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I asked you. You are the Joker. That movie was super dark for me. I had bad feelings afterwards. I was like after we watched it, I was like to my wife, I was like, we should go watch like a nice little children's show, and yeah, and then
Watched
like
a Disney movie.
and then like as we were watching it, I had this like super dark thought. I don't even want to say what it was, but it was just like very dark, and I like shook. I had to like shake out of it. Like I was like out of it, and I like shook out of it. I was like, holy crap! Like let's princess movie or something.
I'm a murderer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I'm-
dark.
Barbie, Princess and the Pauper.
Yeah, anything that does not include violence. Number 4 is actually
Jack Nicholson.
yeah, it's Jack Nicholson, who
Jared
is
Leto.
like is a huge favorite. I actually don't even remember Jack Nicholson's Joker that much. It's been so long since I saw that movie.
Yeah.
But I need to rewatch that.
It's good.
And then number 5,
Easy.
this one you guys won't even get. Maybe Connor will, but I don't think you guys will get. He's from a
Is it
movie.
like an obscure Adam West like Batman
Dude,
movie?
it is Caesar Romero from the original
Oh.
Batmans with Adam West in the 60s.
And I didn't know his name.
I don't know.
Lion.
I don't know if you guys have seen that, but like to be fair, with all like the cheesiness in those movies, he did a really cool job as the Joker. Like his laugh and just the way he spoke and his stupid like evil villain jokes that he would do with on Batman. It was pretty classic Joker. I liked that one a lot. But those are the top 5 that random people have voted on. I will cite my source here. I got this from a website called Ranker. Total nerd. So people just randomly vote on random nerdy subjects, I guess. But yeah, those are the top 5.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Let's
Nice.
do
I
a favorite Joker thing.
I'll go.
Okay.
So, for me, mine is Mark Hamill, but specifically in the Arkham games. Except for there's one that he didn't actually voice the Joker, and I think it's Batman Arkham Origins that he didn't actually voice the Joker. It was someone else, and I hated that game. I didn't hate the game. I didn't like it as much as the other ones. But the reason that I enjoyed it is because I was actually able to interact or feel that I was interacting with the Joker. He was in your face. There was moments that, like Logan was saying, those games did get hairy and scary at points. Like jump scared moments with the Joker and things like that. And a really interesting character arc in the whole series for Joker specifically. And the first game got some weird stuff going on with the Joker, turning into like this giant mutated Titan infused
Beefy
Joker.
man.
That was
Big
crazy.
thick boy. And then that made him super sick. And so then in the rest of the games that he's involved in, there's this whole looking for a cure to make him not sick anymore, but he's also using his blood to infect people. It's crazy. Like, and he goes full board nuts, like the whole game, and just turns into the skid. And I remember watching an interview with Mark Hamill about playing the Joker as a whole, but he was talking about doing the video games, and he said it was such a different experience for him, just because he knew that instead of it being a broad audience that he'd be talking to, it would be a one-on-one experience with someone. That he was really talking to one person being Batman, and he was trying to do it differently in that regard than for a TV show that he was doing and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that aspect of it, and being able to kick the Joker's butt was okay with me too. So,
man, those games are cool. Let's move to Dan.
My turn. Well,
if you say Jared Leto,
no, I've already made too many jokes about that. Honestly, he was barely even in that movie. He was in the trailer longer than the movie.
That's true.
No, I'd say Mark Hamill as well, but different. The Batman show I watched as a kid, you might think it's like Animated Adventures of Batman or whatever one. No, Batman Beyond. I absolutely love that. I can't tell you what it was, but I just loved everything about that show, and that was probably my favorite depiction of the Joker.
That was a good show.
When I think of the Joker, I do always think of Heath Ledger Joker. I'll say that.
Yeah. I think everyone kind of does.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Connor?
I'm just gonna say, because like really my favorite is the Mark Hamill Joker, for all the reasons stated previous. But I guess I'll take a different spin and just get into like why I love the Joker so much, and it is because of Heath Ledger. I don't know exactly what year that movie came out, but
2008.
I was
that's
nice.
what I thought. I didn't want to talk out of my butt.
Yeah, sorry.
So I had to wait to see that movie because I was too young. My parents were kind of strict, but like the day that I saw that movie, it just like, I don't know, I loved his performance and like what he did like as the Joker. That just like opened the doors to me to like Batman comics and like everything about Batman's villains, and especially like the Joker becoming like my favorite.
He was classic. It makes me really sad that Heath Ledger died because, I mean, we don't know, but we all know they would have the fact that the Joker, the way, the ending lines for Heath Ledger's Joker in that movie was just like, he's like, we're bound to do this forever. And it's just like, it was kind of a cliffhanger in a way with just like, Batman, the Joker, their arch nemesis, and is that nemesises? Nemesi?
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, like it makes me sad, but that's okay. At least we have his Joker in general. Personally, so I feel like there's a difference in Jokers in like, because for me, I have like a favorite funny Joker. Like there's the Joker that is like really funny, but then there's like the violent ones, and then there's just ones that you're like, oh, those guys are classics. But so like this one's not my favorite. Zach Galifianakis's Joker though in Lego, what was it? Was it called Lego Batman? The
Lego
movie.
The
Batman.
Lego Batman movie.
That
Oh my gosh.
is one of the funniest Jokers in the game. No competition. It's so funny. And Connor, I don't know if you guys saw, but Connor posted a meme in our DC Universe Discord channel, and it is every bit of it is true. It says like, what does it say? DC fans. I'm gonna read
Well,
it.
it says when people are talking about all the different Jokers, but they're leaving out one.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's a picture of Lego Joker, just like
He's like
all
crying.
sad.
Yeah, it's perfect, and it's funny. He's so funny. But my absolute, and this is gonna be really weird, but my absolute favorite Joker is actually the one from the Adam West movies, because when I was like, I was probably 8, maybe younger, 8 or 9, maybe 7. I don't know. I remember going to Walmart, and they're like movie bin with all the like $5 movies. That one of the old Adam West Batman movies was in there, and I wanted it for some reason, and so we got it. And the main reason I remember this is because I had like my first sleepover or something like that night, and I was like, we're gonna watch Batman, this Batman movie, and like that Joker though is just like, for me, that was kind of like the beginning of kind of my Batman phase of me just loving Batman. And then the Joker was always so memorable to me because in that movie there's the Joker, the Riddler, Catwoman, and Penguin, and so it was just like, out of all of those villains, the Joker stood out to me. And I just thought, that was the very first cinematic Joker, and so I think that's really cool. So that for me, that was my favorite Joker. It's more of a nostalgic sort of thing, but yeah.
I would really love to see them do a Batman movie with like the most obscure Batman villains, like Firefly and and Mad Hatter, and just like, I would love to see just like the C tier Batman villains just all gang up and go after Batman. Would be like the
That'd be
best
cool.
thing ever to me. I think it'd be hilarious.
The most random villains. All right, well, let's get into this.
Killer Moth.
Yeah, Killer
Yeah.
Moth. Dude, that one's the weirdest designed villain I've ever seen in
Isn't
my
there like
life.
a rat guy too?
Dude,
I feel like there's like a Pied Piper guy who could like control rats or something. Like,
Dude,
I
this
can't
is
remember.
this is like partially off track, but it kind of goes. So in like the 2012 animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show, they make fun of like Batman villains multiple times, where they have like this guy who controls rats. He calls himself like the Rat King or something. And then there's this other guy who they make fun of the Moth one, and it's super funny.
Killer
But,
Moth.
Yeah, Killer Moth.
Rat catcher. That's
yeah.
his name. It's rat catcher.
Um,
It's so stupid.
Fear my rat.
Yeah, there's so
Here,
many.
They didn't strain their brains on this one. Man Bat. Just not. That's a bad guy. Man Bat. They didn't work hard on the name there.
It is I, Man Bat.
Batman can't fat man bat. All right, let's get into some nitty gritty stuff though. First off, the Joker was made, the supervillain created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson. He debuted in a comic book called Batman, April 25th, 1940. that is pretty cool that it was that far back. I don't know if people have ever researched it, but what'd you say?
80 years ago.
Yeah, man. People in World War II were just like, gotta get the new Batman comic. Wow, like bombs are going back in Normandy. Anyway,
Can I just take a second to mention that you said debuted instead of debuted?
I thought we were gonna just gloss over that.
Is that
but,
weird?
Yeah, that was
Debuted?
kind of weird.
I've always said
I
debuted.
can't. That is super weird.
I've never noticed, but now
Just
I do.
wanted to take a moment.
That's
Sorry.
all right. No, it's
Heard
fine.
both ways.
That's fun. But let's get into some nitty gritty stuff. I know that Brian has some questions. Is that right?
Yeah. I want Connor as more of a knowledgeable
Yes.
in terms of comics, and that's kind of some of the questions that I have. I don't have a ton of questions because I don't want to take up all the time, but in the comics, how many times has the Joker actually been like? I mean, this is a broad question, but like in terms of successful, because like I feel like the Joker always has these master plans, and then in every single iteration of the Joker, he ends up not getting them done all the way, or they fail in some way, and Batman wins. But I know there's got to be a time where the Joker has won once or twice, or someone's died, or he's because I know there's like the Killing Joke where he shoots Commissioner Gordon's daughter and paralyzes her from the waist down, or something like that. There's a bunch of things. I was just curious on that point. Maybe you have
So-
something there.
Yeah, I mean, like it happens a lot, like in the comics where Joker wins. Like there's, like there's this one, I forget what chain of comics it is, but like he's just like targeting different people in the city, and he's like killing each of them at midnight, and Batman's like trying to like figure out who it is, where it's gonna be, and Joker actually ends up killing like 5 people before like
Wow.
Batman catches the Joker on like the 6th night, and it's like close to like Joker almost kills that person as well and gets away. And so like there's tons of stuff, and there's one comic book that I wanted to talk about like specifically where like the Joker does like pretty much win, you could say, and it's one of the more popular Batman comics. Like if you're into Batman comics, you know this one, you've read this one, and it's A Death in the Family. Joker kills Robin.
Oh,
And I don't know if you know, but there's like 4 different Robins.
Yeah.
So there's Dick Grayson,
Dick
who's the
Grayson.
very first one. There's Jason Todd. And then there's Tim Drake. You know him as like the leader of the Teen Titans.
Mm.
And then there's Damian Wayne, so who's his son. So the second Robin, after Batman and Dick Grayson have a falling out, like Dick Grayson leaves, becomes Nightwing. Batman's like, okay, I need a new
Boy Wonder.
sidekick. Yeah, Boy Wonder. And there's actually kind of like, I don't know if it's fact or not. So somebody, if you know this, that would be great.
back check.
But the Joker actually behind the scenes helps Batman set his sights on Jason Todd to be the next Robin.
Mm.
So then Batman gets Jason Todd, he becomes Robin, they're doing great, just so that later the Joker can beat Jason Todd with a crowbar and then leave him in a warehouse with explosives, and the warehouse explodes and Jason Todd is dead.
Wow.
And so some people say that the Joker like orchestrated that whole thing by like setting Batman's sights on Jason Todd just so that he can like feel like he has something in his life only to lose it to the Joker again.
That's terrifying.
Dang.
I do
is
know
terrifying.
with Jason Todd though, I do know there's other continuities that have him becoming Red Hood.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
He goes through more of a torture with the Joker that kind of dements him away from the non-killing aspects that the Batman tried to teach him as Robin, and then Red Hood, from what I know, and you can correct me please, is more willing to use those lethal forms to come to justice or what have you. I know he is the subject of one of the Batman Arkham games as well, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah. So like there's another Batman villain called like Ra's al Ghul or Raj al Ghul,
Ra's al
however you want to
Ghul.
pronounce it is fine. But he has this thing called the Lazarus Pit,
Right.
which basically whenever he dies, his followers throw him in there and he comes back to life.
Oh,
So like kind of the origin that I know that you're like referring to is they got Jason Todd's body, threw him in the Lazarus Pit. But like when you come out of the Lazarus Pit, you like lose some of your sanity a little bit. And so that's why when he like was resurrected, he's kind of more of a, I don't know,
darker person.
crazy guy and uses lethal force.
I have a question about the Joker. So I've heard like many different kind of origin stories. I mean, there's tons of origin stories out there for the Joker. I mean, even the movie Joker is technically an origin story. But I know that I don't know if this is like there's only one correct origin story or if it's just like among fans there's one good origin story that to them is correct, or if like I don't know, but is there that perfect origin story, or is it just your opinion? And then like if so, what is it? And then and then also if you don't know, what is your favorite origin story?
Okay, well, I don't know if there's one that's like generally accepted by like the public as like this is the origin story, because like the thing about comics is they've been trying to write them for the last 80 years as we found out. And so like like Dan brought up before how there was like the silver age of comics and like the golden age of comics. There's like tons more, like there's different ages. Right. And so they like kind of come to one comic that kind of just like twists everything up, and then they're like, boom, we're starting brand new and we're going to go over everything all over again. And so there's tons of different origin stories for everybody, not just the Joker.
Right.
But like the Joker, not much is known like specifically about his childhood. But like there's this one comic that goes into his childhood as like his parents are dead, I think, and he's being raised by his aunt who is also insane. And she does like really crazy things with him, like scrubs his skin with bleach to like get him clean and whatever, and just all this weird stuff. But then like not much is known like past his childhood into like his adulthood, you could say.
Yeah.
But like I would say like the most well-known or well-accepted Joker origin story is that he somehow gets in control of like the Red Hood gang, because like the Red Hood gang is this gang who just does petty crimes. Their leader is always wearing a hood. Sometimes it's just like a beanie that goes over their head, or like the typical like robber mask with like the eyes cut out and the mask or whatever. Sometimes it's actually like this big dome looking thing, like kind of Mysterio helmet type deal. But so there's like an origin story where he kills the leader of the Red Hood, takes the Red Hood mask or whatever, puts it on, and he is now like the leader of the Red Hood gang.
Right.
So crap goes down at this place called Ace Chemicals, which is pretty much a staple in like the DC universe, Gotham City type stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like hanging on to a rail, and Batman's above him, and Batman can save him, but the Joker decides instead to just let go. He falls into a vat of chemicals. That's what really makes his skin white and his hair green. And he like pops out of the other side, and he's like, you know what? I can work with this. That's how he becomes the Joker.
I look good.
I like it.
Two things about what you're saying. So isn't that first off, isn't that as much as we all love the Jared Leto Joker, is that how they kind of did the Jared Leto Joker? I honestly didn't see that movie because heard so much crap about it, so I was like, I don't really want to see it.
Yeah, pretty much. They
Okay.
didn't go into it like super deep, but they did say like when they were going into like the Harley Quinn backstory a little bit, how he was having this thing with Harleen,
Mm,
and he was like, "Hey, if you wanna, be like me, you gotta like jump in there or whatever." So he
take a
like kind of like
dive.
pushes her in.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like, "You gotta be just like me," and then he's like kind of like leaves her to die, but then he like jumps in and saves her,
Okay.
and so they're just like in this vat of toxic waste
Uh,
at Ace Chemicals.
the second thing
Yeah,
I
you know,
wanted to
normal stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
romantic.
Do you guys even know love? um, the second thing that I thought about when you were saying how like he was raised by his aunt or whatever, and she was crazy, like that origin story, that reminds me a lot of the movie Joker, because that's kind of in a way how they did that kind of story was like. I mean, that movie is brilliant, by the way. I'd say how dark it is and how disturbing it is, but it's one of the most brilliant movies I've ever seen. And how they, you know, basically, for people who haven't seen it, they basically made it to where, like, you almost are like, feel like, in a way, the Joker, even though he's weird, he's normal, in a way. Like, it's kind of weird to describe, but to me, that's what I got. Like, he was like, yes, he's really weird, but like, and he's got these random issues, but like, he's trying to get help. He's a normal guy. He has a job, like all that kind of stuff. And then it's just like all these other things that are tipping him over the edge. But then you later find out that no, he's absolutely nuts. And his, who is that? That's his. Who did they say she was? The lady in that movie, was it his aunt in that movie?
It was his mom
Was it
in the
his mom?
movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his mom though was like she was nuts too. Like there's just like all these things. That movie's so good. But yeah, so that kind of reminded me of that just because like I know like there's the difference with like his mom, that's his mom, but it's like his aunt. But that was like that's a cool origin story, I think. But I've always liked the one that you're saying like he fell into like this toxic stuff that turned him all white or whatever. But yeah, Dan, did you have any questions or have any fun facts that you found out?
I actually have a question. So, Joker, he's been around since like World War II, right? But
Yes.
like, we're all familiar with like the kind of murdery, funny Joker, that we all like grew up with. Has the Joker always been like that, or is it kind of like grown and evolved, like you were saying, how they reset the comics?
I would definitely say it's evolved, because like in the first comic that he ever like showed up in, is he just like dressed as a clown because he wanted to. He thought it was funny and just like killed somebody.
I
And it was just like super mild, but it's like evolved so much since then. It's like he I don't know.
So I do know a
There's
little
just been
something
like
on
so
this.
much added through the years.
I do know a little
Go
something
for
on
it.
this because I watched this like 30-minute documentary on the Joker. Um, there was something saying because like when they like you said when they first made the Joker, he was just kind of like this clown who did jokes, but they were like in a way evil. And that was like years and years ago, like, right? That was like the 40s through like I want to say it was through like this into the 60s or something like that. That's basically how he was in the comics. And then they started to
Hmm.
kind of evolve him to be a little more violent and scary. Um, and so they did, and they kind of made him. I saw this picture that they like based in the comics for the art. They based his face off of this like this. I can't remember what the movie's called. It's called like The Laugh or something like that. But it's from like the 50s. This movie, and there's like this creepy guy with this big wide smile. Um, and they kind of based their design off of that. And he was dark, and it got darker and darker from like the 60s going into like the late 60s or early 70s. But then like parents got like worried, and they didn't want their kids looking at this violent stuff, and they were like very overprotective. And so they're like, okay, so they like backed up and kind of made it less violent and more jokey. And then after the 80s, that's when they were like, hey, let's revamp, or no, during the 80s, they were like, hey, let's revamp this more violent Joker. Because I don't know, it was just a hit. Like, people loved this guy who he was insane. He would laugh and at like doing these terrible things, and he was creepy. He was dressed like a clown, and from then on, it's honestly, look how the movies have gone and the anime. Everything's gotten darker since. Like, it's just gotten darker and darker, which is, I guess, reasonable. But yes, that is my 2 cents.
Yep. I agree with Logan's 2 cents. I was like nodding my head through the whole thing,
Yeah.
like, yep, that's it. It changed. Yep, in the 60s. Yep,
Yeah,
back in the 80s. Yep.
Like, I know a little bit about
It was actually super interesting. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if it still is, but it was like a month or so ago on Apple like movies. They were doing some sale for like all the Batmans throughout history or whatever, all these things that were related to DC, and they had for free. It's like a 30-minute documentary on the Joker, like in general, from the beginning of its origins all the way to the movie Joker. So it had like well, at least the most popular ones, I feel like. But they had like a whole history on the Joker, and so it's really interesting. I thought it was really cool. I don't know if it's still free, but if it is, take a look at it. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Do you?
I have a random
Oh,
question.
yeah. Go for it.
Connor or anyone here, have you read the one? It's like a single. I think it's a single spin-off comic. It's very random, but have you read or have any of you seen Dark Claw
No.
before? They take Batman and Wolverine and they make them one person, and then it's the Joker and what's Wolverine's Sabretooth, and they put them together, and it's Hyena. So it's Dark Claw and Hyena, and it is the coolest thing. It's like a one random spin-off comic. It looks so dope.
That
It
looks
is
gnarly.
so
That sounds
cool.
gnarly.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
The outfits are crazy. Like the costume they have him in the comic is nuts. The freaking
Oh, you said Dark
Hyena.
Claw?
Yeah.
Yes, Dark Claw. Hyena. It looks freaking terrifying.
Post it in the DC Discord. I want to see that.
Oh, okay.
Shoot.
And while you're doing that,
You guys can move on.
yes, okay, that is really cool though. That sounds amazing. But Connor, do you have any cool, I don't know, deep lore, fun facts, whatever that you wanted to talk about?
I do. One kind of Easter egg thing that I wanted to share was from the movie, what is it called? Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie with like the mixed reviews. I really loved it. I thought it was great.
I agree. It was really cool.
But like, there's this one moment in the film where like I didn't even catch this the first time I watched the movie, but it was like a year or two ago where I was watching it, and there's this one moment where Bruce Wayne is standing in his manor and he's just looking at this glass case, and there's like a costume that you can see, and there's kind of like some yellow stuff like all over it. Like, I totally glossed over that the first time I saw it and was just like, oh, that's probably just like, one of his old suits or something like that. But like, if you look closely at it, you'll see that it's not a Batman suit, it's Robin's suit.
Oh.
And like all of that yellow stuff that's on there is like spray paint where it says like ha, like ha, 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 all over it.
Yeah.
And so like Batman has kept Jason Todd's suit that's like been defiled by the Joker, basically kind of like as a memory for
That's
himself to like know that he like shouldn't get too close to things because bad things are going to happen, but like he still like needs to fight for like the right reasons and things like that. And so
That's pretty
just
cool.
that little Easter egg for you. You can look for that next time you're watching
It's like a
Batman vs Superman.
motivation for
Yeah.
Batman, anger him up, get him
Yep.
all ready to fight.
I
That's cool.
posted a picture of Dark Claw and Hyena in the general chat.
Yes, and they look so cool. I was like, man, I'm gonna try and buy this comic. I was. That's crazy. Yeah, that looks super cool. I want to buy
Dark
that
Claw
comic.
is so freaking bad.
Dark Claw looks really weird.
Right? It's super cool. Like, can you imagine if Batman had freaking claws? That'd be so scary.
Okay, but now like
Yeah,
take those. Think about it, right? Take those, which are kind of a cartoony comic book style of art that they made for those. But now, like, think about if they made like a really cool version of Dark Claw and Hyena, and it was like an actual mix of like Heath Ledger's Joker with a nitty gritty. What's his name? The Wolverine's bad guy.
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. And then like I don't know, like the Dark Knight Batman we have, Christian Bale's mixed with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman.
You know, just like a super gritty, dark version of Dark Claw. That'd be super cool. Yes.
That'd be fun. I would get behind that.
I would get behind it. What else, Connor?
Too.
I know Connor. I want something that blows the Joker out my butt. Like I want something crazy.
Ooh.
Do you have anything crazy? Some deep knowledge.
Okay. Here's one. So there are different Batman origin stories that are written over time as well. So like when so Bruce Wayne and his parents are walking down the alley. When his parents get killed, he eventually turns into Batman.
Mm.
There's alternate universes where they're walking down and Bruce gets killed and Martha get killed. And Thomas Wayne eventually goes on to be Batman. But the thing is in another universe, they're walking down that alley. Bruce and Thomas get murdered, and Martha Wayne turns into the Joker.
What?
She sees her husband and her child there dead in the street, and it literally turns her insane, and she becomes the Joker.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And like, is there a Batman though? Like, is there a Batman that fights her?
I don't know.
That'd be cool. I don't know. Like if they had like
if somebody turned into Batman.
If like the Joker was now the
I'll
Batman.
have to look that up.
Was she? I mean, I don't know how much you know about it, but was she a Joker?
I don't know much.
Okay, was she a villain or was she like a good guy Joker? Oh, okay.
No, she was bad.
That would have been interesting if they made it like she was a good guy, like she was a superhero, but she was the Joker, and then the Batman who was like gonna be the Joker is now the Batman was actually the evil villain. That would have been interesting.
I just put a picture of Martha Wayne Joker in the general Discord, and it is terrifying.
Oh my god!
That's what I just looked up, boys. So I looked up Martha Wayne Joker, and apparently in Flashpoint, in that universe, the Flashpoint, the one Barry Allen or whichever Flash, he always does dumb stuff with time travel. But in this one, the only person who's killed in the alley is Bruce. And Martha becomes the Joker, and Thomas becomes Batman.
Oh, weird.
So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's like one of the cool things I love about I'm not really into like the superhero stuff, especially like Marvel. I get the hype. I'm just not into it. But one of the things I love about like the comic book universe with these classics like Batman and Superman and Marvel and all that is like all the different origins and universes they make within that same universe. I think those are super cool. I love how these stories evolve. I love how they change. People have different renditions, whatever. It's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
The multiverse.
Yes, the multiverse. And I think that wasn't there a oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Somebody talk so I don't have to talk because I feel stupid right now.
Well, I just posted a subsequent photo of Martha Wayne as the Joker, and it is even more terrifying.
Describe it
But
to
the
the
idea of that's really interesting, like going through that traumatic event
Oh my gosh.
and it being the catalyst to something horrible like that happening. Not that this is so totally off topic, but it relates slightly. If anyone's read The Cursed Child, I don't believe
Negative.
it's canon. I don't like it.
I don't
think
like
it's
it.
a piece of garbage.
I don't like the
But
script version.
in the continuity of this story, Harry Potter's kid and Draco Malfoy's kid are friends. They go back in time. They mess things up for Cedric Diggory so that he doesn't ever make it to the end of the maze and doesn't end up dying in the task. In this story, because of the humiliation he faced going through all the tasks and losing so horribly, he became a Death Eater and ends up killing Neville Longbottom. Which then he doesn't kill the snake, so then Voldemort wins and blah 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 blah.
Yes,
But
typical time
it's kind of
travel
that interesting. It's that interesting train of thought of if certain things. It makes you think that it's the whole concept of bad people aren't born; they're made. That the Joker, at like say, a person was a human being was the Joker. He wasn't born that way. Like he wasn't born the Joker, but things happen to him. Whether it's the origin story with the ant, where he's scrubbed with bleach his whole life because he's dirty and there's something wrong with him innately, according to the person who's taking care of him. That can do crazy things to people. Or he fell in a vat of chemicals, or what have you. Whatever the origin story is, anybody could turn into this crazy person next week depending on what happens to them. And so it's kind of a scary reality of being a human. But I think the whole concept is really intriguing that someone like Martha Wayne in one of the continuities could watch something that tragic happen, which it would be horrible for anyone to go through, and then she becomes this psychopathic murderer. Is just kind of, it's jarring in a way.
Well, that's kind of like the movie Joker. I mean, it kind of makes the villain more real. And I think that's why it was so terrifying to me, because it's almost like relatable. It is like you can see that actually happening in our times. It's like it's just like, this guy, Joaquin Phoenix's version is just like, he's just this guy. He's got some mental issues and disorders and such. But in the end, he wouldn't. It's almost, they make it seem like in the end he wouldn't have been this bad Joker villain guy. But he hit a tipping point that I don't want to say like other people caused him to, but there was, like there's one part in the movie where like he's on the subway and he's dressed as a clown because that was his job, and they're just like Wall Street jerks, and they're just like making fun of him and bullying him and stuff, and he ends up like shooting them, or one of them, or something like that, or two.
All of them.
Okay, all of them. Didn't one live though, or did
One was getting away and running
that's
away.
Right. That's right.
Joker shoots him in the back.
He finished him. Yeah. That's really dark, but it's weird. That part's weird though, because it's like I don't know, if you're like, when you're watching, you're like, I mean, like, this sounds super evil and dark. Maybe I have issues, but like, I get it. Like it's like, I'm not, it's like that. It's like the whole thing where I don't know if you've seen lately, but there's like with the Heath Ledger Joker, there's so many things I've seen where it's like those awesome monologues or speeches that his Joker makes in The Dark Knight. You're like, look, I'm not saying the Joker's a good guy. I'm not saying what he did was right.
I understand.
But I get it. Yeah. It's like isn't that like a Tom Segura bit where or is it Louis C.K.? I don't know. One of those comedians where he like makes something super controversial. He's like, look, I'm not saying it was right, but I get it. It was necessary. Okay. Like, it's like that same thing.
I think it's Tom Segura, and he's talking about the president of the Philippines using motorcycle murder squads to kill drug dealers.
Well,
I'm not saying it's a great thing, but I get it. Like,
comedians are so controversial, like, because I know he did one that was like slavery as well, or something like that. He's like, look, it's wrong. It was evil. It was terrible. but like I don't even remember the whole bit. I don't agree with what he was saying.
I'm not gonna go into that.
I'm just
but
saying if you want to know that bit that he does, it's pretty funny and you can go look it up if you're
Tom
sensitive
Segura,
to it.
in my opinion, is the funniest comedian out there
He's
available right
very
now.
funny.
If you want to feel very uncomfortable
Dude,
and
that-
laugh violently, please go enjoy.
How
Golden Smith.
funny would it have been if like the Joker, like the supervillain Joker, was actually just like a super funny comedian? Like, can you imagine like Tom Segura like dressed up as the Joker, just like this fat guy with makeup
Hey, buddy.
on? Yeah, and he says like stupid bits, right before he kills somebody or something. I don't know. I'd make it a little lighter. I don't know. Okay, let's see. We have been going for a full 51 minutes. So it's about the wrapping up time. I know we didn't get to everything. There's so much to do about the Joker. Maybe we do a Joker 2 if we didn't get to anything, or we, target something specific about the Joker. We'll definitely have Connor back on. Do we have any last
Definitely.
remarks, Connor? Do we have any last remarks or any fun facts at the end here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. One of the comics that I was going to bring up was The Killing Joke.
Oh, yes.
It is
very popular.
like one of the most famous, one of the most popular Joker comics. And I was going to talk about it, but then a couple of days ago we saw that the Killing Joke movie is being added to Netflix today for us, last week for people who are watching this whenever it comes out. So
Nice.
go on to Netflix, go watch it if
I didn't know they made a
haven't
movie.
seen it already. Yeah, and it's Mark Hamill.
Wait, is it animated?
Yeah. So it's cartoon,
So
but it's like full-length movie. Mark Hamill voices the Joker.
So I've never read, because The Killing Joke was a comic, right?
Mhm.
So I've never read it. So is it just basically a movie, basically like copy paste from the comic,
Not copy paste, but
but still very well done?
storyline. I think it's the same.
Okay, cool. That's funny because I was actually the other day looking for Batman Beyond or one of the Joker or Mark Hamill Joker animated shows, but
Yeah.
that's cool.
Well, now you can just go watch that movie, and all of
Sweet.
your avid listeners can go see it too.
Yes. Sweet. Any last remarks from you guys, Brian and Dan the man? Yes. No. What? Anything? No.
Ireland. Thank you guys.
Say that again
I'm
because I don't know if
good.
everyone heard you. Okay, moving on.
I said shout out to Ireland.
Okay.
No, I don't have anything. I appreciate the questions, and I'm glad that I could show Connor Dark Claw and Hyena
Dude, Dark
this evening.
Claw.
So
That's
my only contribution to this discussion, and I'm very okay with that.
dude, that's on the list. I want to check that out. Awesome. Well, thank you, Connor, for being on the show.
Sure.
Thank you, Brian and Dan, for being here too. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you to me for
Aw.
being here as well.
Thank you to me.
That was weird. Thank you to everybody who listens.
Shout out.
Like I said at the beginning, like, subscribe, smash that like. Dan, you do it. You're really good at it.
What is it? Smash that like button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates, and kiss your grandma because you never know when will be the last time you kiss her.
Wow.
That was the saddest thing you could have possibly said.
And
Loving.
Oh my
because-
gosh.
My grandma's in California, man. I can't.
Did you
I
kiss
saw
her?
the cutest old lady at work today, and I was just like, man, I want to see my grandma.
Well,
Oh,
on that,
welcome to the Council of Nerds, everybody.
yeah, that was good. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you for listening. We have fun with the Joker. I think next week we are talking The Dark Knight, like the movies. Just basically the movies. That's about it. But we're excited. Spoopy. What do you say, Brian? Spoopy time. instead of spooky time.
Spoopy time.
Spooky time.
Spooky Halloween.
Yeah.
Spoopy.
So yeah, we're gonna keep it dark and spoopy.
Spoopy.
But yes, thank you again for watching, and we will catch you on the next Council of Nerds. Goodbye.
Bye.
The Council of Nerds.